Hello, good people. Today we are going to do 11 questions in 20 minutes. Now the toppers attempt questions. Basically, the best way to approach questions and get to solving things in a more efficient and intelligent manner. Before we start with the questions, let's talk of Anastasis Academy, my own pet venture. We have Project Vita, a course for CAT 2021, not just CAT 2021, all the allied exams, but CAT happens to be the mother of all exams, and therefore we tend to name it CAT 2021. The course details: there is going to be a course for QA, there is going to be a course for LRDI. Lots of things are being taught. Currently, this batch has started on 5th April, and number systems is done in QA. In LRDI, we are done with phase one, wherein we've covered approximations, tables, and line charts, and we've recently started with arrangements. Why should you join us? Maybe these reasons will get your motor running. The most important thing within this that I feel you should be taking care of is the fact that most of the trainers in our industry are engineers, and therefore the way they look at questions, not that it is wrong, but the way they look at questions is usually based on the way an engineer would look at a question. Given that I myself come from a non-engineering background, I'm one of the rare non-engineering teachers. In fact, the only one that I know of in my circle or in the industry that I'm aware of. But I would not presume to say I'm the only non-engineering quant and LRDI teacher. But I just know of myself, non-engineering quant and LRDI teacher, and I've also topped several exams multiple times. I don't know if that makes a difference, but okay. We have 8 classes per week. Recordings will be available. There will be classes on 6 days a week. Focus will be on exam attempt techniques. I don't want you to become PhDs in maths. I don't want you to become the smartest people in the world. I simply want you to become good enough that you can clear the exam. If in the course of you clearing the exam you do eventually become a PhD in maths, wonderful, but that will not be the focus of the classroom. Basically, we will shy away from questions or setups which require you to learn advanced math that is not really required for these entrance exams. The classroom course will be over by August 31, so that you have adequate time for a lot of test taking, a lot of mocks. The classroom course will be over by August 31. Our support will keep on going till 28th February 2022. We will be having a lot of workshops, a lot of sessions, tests, mocks during the course. After August 31, we'll be having a lot of those sessions, because for any exam, especially the management entrance exam scenario, the most important thing is your ability to take the test. Whatever you learn in class is great, but beyond that, what do you do in the test? And that is why there is a significant dedicated chunk of time that I have allocated for making sure I will get you to attempt a lot of tests, and then we will analyze them together. We can learn with each other. Okay, now that this is over, let us get to the questions directly. Okay. A, B, C, D, E, F is a regular hexagon. Line segments A and BD are drawn. We draw another regular hexagon G, H, I, K, L. G, H, I, J, K, L, where G is on A, J is on BD, and both K and L are on D. Line segments H, L, and I, K are drawn. We draw another regular hexagon M, N, O, P, Q, R, where O is on I, K, R is on H, L. Both M and N are on H, I. What is the area of the hexagon? M, N, O, P, Q, R. So they're asking me area of this hexagon. Okay. If AB is equal to 8, this is 8. Now, the first thing when I look at this is I see symmetry. I see symmetry. I'll try to highlight what I mean by it. Can you see that there is a straight line here? And there is a straight line here. Let me name this point Y and let me name this point Z. Within the rectangle, YEDZ, you have the hexagon GHIJKL. Now, within the rectangle, let me name this X, let me name this W, XHIW. Within XHIW, you have MNOPQR. Yes, hopefully you can see that. Similarly, if I were to extend the same diagram, can I make it this way? Let me go here. Let me go here. Let me go here. And let me go here. Okay, one more line probably will make my work very, very easy now. If you can make these lines, if this is how you think of hexagons, the life would be extremely easy. This is 8, this is 90, so this will be 30, this will be 4, this will be 8, this will be 4 root 3. So for this big rectangle on outside, for this big rectangle on outside, can you see this is 4 root 3, this is 4 root 3, this is 4, this is 4. The area of the big rectangle on outside is 4, 8, this 16 into 8 root 3. Or let me name this rectangle. Let me call this, what variables? Lots of variables have been used up. So let me go S, P, U, V. Area of STUV is 128. Area of STUV is 128. And the hexagon within it, this will be 8 root 3. 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 8 root 3. 8 root 3. And 32 root 3. Yes. So can you see, if STUV is 128 root 3, if STUV is 138 root 3, area of YZDE will be 32 root 3, 1/4 of that. And similarly, area of XWIH will be 1/4 of this, 8 root 3. Now in STUV, the hexagon that you fit, the area of that is 96 root 3. 96 root 3. So you've gone 1/4 here and you've gone 3/4 here. So 3/4 here, area here should be 24 root 3. Area here should be 6 root 3. Instead of actually calculating the length of sides, if you can look at symmetry, your work becomes extremely easy. Answer will be option C, 6 root 3. Next question, what are the last two digits of x if x is equal to 11 raised to the power 1, 11 raised to the power? Basically, a whole lot of numbers up until 11 raised to the power 55. Whenever you see last two digits, basically look for remainder with 4 and 25. So if I'm looking for remainder with 4, here I get -1, here I will get +1, here I will get -1, so on and so forth. If I keep going, I will keep getting this. Can you see that every pair will be -1 +1 cancel, -1 +1 cancel, -1 +1 cancel. Only thing you'll be left with is -1. So the number that you're going to have is going to be 4n plus 3 or 4n minus 1, whatever you choose to call it. Now look at the options. This is 4n, this is 4n, this is 4n plus 1. This is the only option that is 4n plus 3, and therefore that will be the answer. You did not need to create an entire loop of remainders to get to your final answer. Next question, jars P, Q and R of capacity 500 grams are completely filled with Rangoli colors. Each jar has code number on it of the type A, B, C, D. A, B and C, D are two-digit numbers where A, B shows the percentage of color in the jar, while C, D shows the percentage of base material used in the color. Codes for jar P, Q, R are 10 and 90, 20 and 80, 30 and 70 respectively. 100-gram Rangoli mix from each of these jars is taken out and put in another empty jar and mixed well. Now 100 gram from this mixture is again transferred to each jar and mixed with Rangoli originally present in that jar. Then the code on the jars was changed is required. How many codes were changed? This is a typical question wherein they've given you a lot of information and simply they've presented information in a different way. Can you see if 10 and 90, can I say purity of this container was 10%, 10 by 100? Purity here was 20%, purity here was 30%. So you've got some item of 10%, some item of 20%, some item of 30%. and you take equal quantities of all three. If you take equal quantities of all three, average of them would be average of 10, 20, 30. You get averages 20%. The mixture will have a purity of 20%. Now, if 20%, some material 20% is going to 10%, some material of 20% is going to 30%, and some material of 20% is going to 20%. There will be a change here. There will be a change here. There will not be a change here. Therefore, how many codes were changed? Answer is 2. That's it. Next question. Out of 72 employees working in a company, there are some permanent employees and the rest, more than one, are contract employees. 1/4 of the contract employees are eligible for annual increment and 1/3 of the permanent employees are not eligible for the annual increment. What can be the minimum number of employees not eligible for the annual increment? Okay. Let's go. I have 72 employees. Some of these are permanent, some of these are contract. 1/4 of the contract employees, which means contract employees are multiple of 4. Total is a multiple of 4. Contract employees are a multiple of 4. So permanent employees will also be a multiple of 4. Okay, are eligible for annual increment. Cool. And 1/3 of the permanent employees, 1/3 of the permanent employees are not eligible for annual increment. So you can get 1/3 of permanent employees. This is also a multiple of 3. Total is also a multiple of 3. So this will also be a multiple of 3. Basically, what we've concluded is permanent employees is a multiple of 3 and multiple of 12, and contract employees are also a multiple of 12. Permanent employees are a multiple of 12. Contract employees are a multiple of 12. Now, we've been told among these, 1/4 of the contract employees are eligible for annual increment. So 3 people are eligible, 9 people are not eligible. Here, 1/3 are not eligible. So, 4 people are not eligible and 8 people are eligible. 8 people are eligible. Now, remember, you are looking for a minimum number of employees not eligible for annual increment. You want minimum number of employees not eligible for annual increment. So, if 72 has to be broken down into 2 multiples of 12, the best way you can do it is 60-12 or 12-60. These are the only ways possible. Do you want to increase the count of people here where not eligible people are more? Not at all. So you would want 60 people to be here. So basically, we are multiplying this 12 with 5. So this 8 with 5, this 4 with 5, you get 20 here. You get 9 from here. Your final answer turns out to be option C, 29. Next question, find the area of the quadrilateral ABCD given in the adjacent diagram. Okay, first thing you see is, you join these lines, This is 8, this is 15. Pythagorean triplets comes to your rescue. It is 17 here. So area for this is happily 60. 8 into 50, 60. Done so. The next important thing to note here, is all the options that are given to you are in integers. All the options that are given to you are in integers, which means the height that you are going to get here, will also be an integer. And therefore, what you need to do with the height here, simply look at this. This is 25, this is 26, this is 90, this is 90. Is there any length of side that you know that forms a Pythagorean triplet with 25 and also with 26? Of course, there is 24 here. Then you get 7 here. You would get 10 here. Everything fits. So the area here would be 17 into 12. 17 into 12 is 204. Plus 60 is 264. And therefore, answer to this question is option A. In a race of 60 meters, Chanchal should give Kamal a head start of 15 seconds. Okay, so Chanchal gives Kamal a head start of 15 seconds. And Kamal should give Nutan a head start of 25 seconds. So can I combine these two facts to say Chanchal should give Nutan a head start of 40 seconds, 15 plus 25 seconds? If each pair mentioned wanted to finish the race together, head start basically means the same thing. What is the speed of Chanchal if the difference between the speeds of Chanchal and Nutan is 4 meters per second? Now you can make an equation, or the smart way forward here is use these options. If this is the speed of Chanchal, that is what they've asked. If this is the speed of Chanchal, speed of Nutan would be 2, 4, 6, and 8. In this case, Chanchal takes how much time? 100 seconds. Nutan takes how much time? 300 seconds. The gap is 200. We wanted a gap of 40. Doesn't work. So 75 seconds, 150 seconds. Gap is 75. We wanted 40. Doesn't work. Here you get 60 seconds. Here you get 100 seconds. The gap is of 40 seconds. This option perfectly works. And you can mark option C and move on. You could also potentially go ahead and check for option D. 600 by 12, 50 seconds. And 600 by 8, 75 seconds. The gap is 25 seconds. Doesn't work. Option C will necessarily be your answer. Option C will necessarily be your answer. You don't need to make equations every time there is an opportunity available. Next question. A cricketer has played 45 innings and his average score is 50. Out of these 45 innings, he did not score more than 50 in exactly 30 innings. What is the highest possible value of the average score in these 30 innings? The interesting thing to note here is you have 45 innings and you have 30 innings, which are not co-prime numbers. These have something in common. They have 15 in common. So when you are calculating average, you don't really care for absolute numbers. You only care for ratios. Instead of taking it as 45 innings, take it as 3 innings. Instead of taking it as 30 innings, take it as 2 innings. So 3 innings, average score is 150. So the total is 150. 3 innings, average score is 50. Total is 150. Out of these 3 innings, he did not score more than 50 in exactly 2 innings. So in one inning, he has scored 50 plus. In one inning, he has scored 50 plus. What is the highest possible average, highest possible value of the average score in these 30 innings or in these 2 innings? If I want the maximum possible average score in the 2 innings, in that one match, in that one inning in which he has scored 50 plus, I want the score to be minimum possible. Minimum possible would be 51. So in the remaining 2 matches, he has scored 59. The average of those 2 matches would be 49.5. So option B. Next question. There are 10 identical paper slips kept in a box. The paper slips are numbered 1 through 10. Abha, Beena, and Charlie pick one slip each with replacement. What is the probability that the number on the paper slip picked by Abha is not more than that of Beena, and the number on Beena's slip is not more than that of Charlie? So basically, you have to pick 3 numbers. Make cases. All 3 equal. All 3 pick up the same number. You have 10 cases. You have 2 smaller numbers identical and 1 larger number different. So you basically need 2 numbers. 10C2, 10C2. You can have 1 smaller number and 2 larger numbers identical. You will again have 10C2, and you'll have all 3 numbers different. You will have 10C3. So you get 10 from here, you get 45 from here, you get 45 from here, you get 120 from here. Add them up, you get 220 cases. As soon as you reach 220, you can mark the answer as option C, because 220, if you cancel it, you will never reach 7 or 9 or 13. But still, because you have 10 options for each of them, you get 1000 in base. Cancel, cancel, 11 by 50 you get. Option C becomes your answer. Okay. On the annual day festival of school, a group of students are dressed in a specific manner. Some students are wearing only green and some students are wearing only red. Ram, a student in the group. If you do not include me, the number of students wearing green colored dress is 4 times the number of students wearing red colored dress. So if Ram is excluded, green is 4x and red is x. So can I say total number of students will be 5x plus 1. Total number of students will be 5x plus 1. 5x plus 1 Ram that has been excluded. Shyam, another student in the group, says, if you do not include me, the number of students wearing green colored dress is 5 times the number of students wearing the red colored dress. Okay. Number of students wearing the green colored dress is okay. So if you do not include me, the number of students wearing the green colored dress is 5 times the number of students wearing the red colored dress. So if Shyam is excluded, green is 5 by and red is y. Can I say total number of students are 6y plus 1? So we are basically looking for a number that is 5x plus 1 and 6y plus 1. By combining them separately, you get the smallest such number is 31. Now, because the smallest such number is 31, simply see this. If you removed Ram, greens were only 4 times of red. But if you removed Sham, greens were 5 times of red. So I'm simply saying both of them cannot be of the same color. Simply say Ram was green. Ram was green. So 1/5 of 30. 6 red and 25 green. And Sham is red. Sham is red and Ram is green. Simply check it. All numbers fit. The answer here is 31. The key here being 6y plus 1 and 5x plus 1. If you can combine them, you can get your answer quicker. ABCD is a square with each side measuring 4 centimeter. P is a point on CD such that length of AP is root 5 by 2 times the length of each side of square. Find the area of the trapezium ABCP. Okay, look at this. ABCD is a square, right? Okay. A, B, C, D. You put P here somewhere. This is 4. Length of AP is root 5 by 2 times the length of each side, which means this is 2 root 5. If this is 4, 16, square is 16. 2 root 5 square is 20. So square of this must be 4. So this is 2. Find the area of trapezium ABCP. So they want area of this. I know area of the entire square is 16. Area of this portion is 4. So 16 minus 4. The answer is 12. Option B, 12. Okay, last question. 75% sugar solution is mixed with 40% sugar solution in some proportion to form mixture A. Mixture A is then mixed with 200 liters of 40% sugar solution to form mixture M. If the concentration of mixture M is 45% and the volume is 600 liters, what was the concentration of mixture A before adding 200 liters of 40% sugar solution? Okay, look at this. 40% and some percent are being mixed together to arrive at 45%. Now 40% you had 200 liters, and 45% you have 600 liters, which means whatever this purity was, you had 400 liters of this. Now 1:2, if it is the ratio of their existence, if 1:2, the ratio of the distance from average will be 2:1. Now this 2 units is equivalent to 5%. So 1 should be equivalent to 2.5%. 45 plus 2.5. This will be 47.5%. Option C. This initial information about 75% sugar solution and 40% sugar solution is actually useless in this question. This is not something you had to use. And that will be all. 11 questions done. Happy reminder. Project Vita, the course from Anastasis Academy, is currently going on. In case you want to learn some of the techniques or some of the things that were taught in this video, I would encourage you to find out more. You can connect with me on Telegram. My username is Anastasis Shankar on Telegram. There is also a Telegram group by the name of Anastasis Academy. You can join that group. This channel, of course, you're here. This is the website. There's a Facebook page. Tons of ways in which you can communicate with me. Please get in touch. That will be all. Okay, bye, people. I'm stopping the recording.